Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. We're going to start off with the radar as of 9:30 a.m. and as you can see, there's plenty of rain settling over Philadelphia and moving into New York City. Now, what I'm expecting throughout the day is that this rain will slowly move to the east. This rain is actually behind the cold front that is exiting out into the Atlantic. So this is what we call an antifront. At any rate, this rain will continue on through the day, moderate to heavy at times, with some threats for some isolated, localized flash flooding, especially those around the Raritan and Passaic River basins. Be on guard for some flash flooding as the rivers are already stressed with the rainfall we've had so far this spring. I'm expecting the rain to continue on through the early and mid-afternoon hours and end before the evening rush hour for most locations. The rain will end from west to east, with the Philadelphia metropolitan area drying out first, followed by the New York City metropolitan area somewhere around 5 to 6 p.m. For those going to the baseball games this evening, I have some good news. By this evening, the high pressure system that is settling over the Ohio Valley and the Midwest will build into the northern Mid-Atlantic. That means much of this rainfall will be out of the northern Mid-Atlantic by the time 7 p.m. rolls around. So if you're going to a Phillies game or to a Mets game this evening, be prepared for some wet seats. But for the most part, conditions will be drying out and skies will be clearing. Unfortunately, the temperatures today are not going to be moving all that much as this cool air mass builds in. We're looking at temperatures hovering around the mid to upper 50s throughout the afternoon, and this evening falling into the upper 40s. This is the GFS model guidance for this evening. As you can see, our area low pressure is moving into New England and our cold front's well off the coast. Now, I want you to keep an eye on the area low pressure settling over New England and the high pressure system that is settling over the upper Midwest. These two features are going to be battling each other throughout the rest of the week and into the weekend. By tomorrow afternoon, you can see that there really hasn't been much of a change. Our area low pressure is still stuck over New England, and our high pressure system is still anchored over much of the Ohio Valley and Midwest. It's going to expand towards the southeast coast, but what I want to point out here is that these areas of low pressure that are developing over the northern plains will continue to move from northwest to southeast towards the northern Mid-Atlantic and New England, basically revolving around this low pressure system that is anchored over New England. What that basically means is that the northern Mid-Atlantic is going to be in a battle zone, so to speak, between the cool Canadian, somewhat maritime air mass over northern New England and the very warm and humid air mass over the southeast. That's going to produce a threat for scattered showers each day, but I'm not expecting a washout for the rest of this week and into the weekend. If you have outdoor activities, keep them. Be on guard for a few isolated showers here and there in the afternoon, but not a complete washout. Otherwise, temperatures are going to be rather comfortable with highs in the 60s to lower 70s. And in fact, by this weekend, many locations are going to be in the lower 70s, especially when you're away from the coast. If you're going to be around Long Island or southeastern Connecticut, those locations will most likely be in the mid to upper 60s. But overall, a rather nice weekend if you could dodge a shower here and there. This is the 500 millibar pattern for Monday, and what I want to show here is that we're developing a nice trough over the west, and in response we get a ridge building over the east and especially the southeast. This is a textbook example of a La Nina influence. Even though La Nina is weakening and starting to transition to a neutral state, the atmosphere is still lagging behind in that change, and so therefore we continue on with this La Nina influence. However, notice there appears to be a split developing between the polar branch of the jet stream that's well to the north in Canada and the subtropical branch that is basically moving through the United States. And in response to that upper level split in the jet streams, you can see that we're starting to develop two different types of frontal positions in the atmosphere. We have an area low pressure developing over the southern plains in response to the deep trough in the west, and we have a nice warm front starting to build and slowly move northeast over the Ohio Valley towards the northern Mid-Atlantic. Now this warm front is going to be slowed down just a bit because of high pressure that's sitting over the Canadian Maritimes. This is going to keep a rather cool marine air mass in the northern mid-Atlantic area for the start of next week. We're looking at temperatures in the 60s. Nothing horrible, but unfortunately there's going to be plenty of cloud cover with an easterly wind over the northern mid-Atlantic. But notice we also have a cold front moving through the Great Lakes. Now there's a pretty powerful high pressure system of Canadian origin that is going to be diving south towards the northern plains. And this air mass is going to clash with the warm front over parts of the plains that could produce a rather significant severe threat, I think, for the upper Mississippi River Valley and parts of the northern plains. We're going to have to keep an eye on that, especially around Iowa and Nebraska and parts of northern Kansas. As for the northern mid-Atlantic, we're going to remain in this battle between air masses and remain in a very volatile period, but eventually that ridge starts to win out. By Tuesday afternoon, you can clearly see our ridge is much stronger over the east. Unfortunately for the northern mid-Atlantic, we remain in the northeast quadrant of this high pressure system, which means that we are under a northwesterly cool flow over the northern mid-Atlantic with high pressure holding strong over parts of the Canadian Maritimes and New England. Unfortunately, this is going to keep us in a marine environment while a cold front that is over the Great Lakes loses its punch because all the lifting is focused into Canada, and our warm front is slowed down because the upper level winds are running parallel to the warm front, which is never good if you want to have a warm front move fast. You want southwesterly winds or southerly winds behind a warm front, like what you see over the Ohio Valley and over the southern plains, not a northwesterly wind which runs counter to the warm front. At the surface on Tuesday afternoon, you can see we have a variety of frontal systems setting up over the east. You can see our cold front over the eastern Great Lakes is slowly losing its punch as the majority of the energy with this cold front is shifted into Canada. Our high pressure system over the Canadian Maritimes is building down the east coast, and that slows down our warm front. So what this basically means for the northern Atlantic is that we remain in this marine air mass, but not much in the way of a break until this ridge builds north and shoves this warm front that's over the southeast and parts of the Ohio Valley into the northern Atlantic. Until that happens, look for increasing clouds for the start of next week with a threat of showers each day and rather cool conditions with temperatures in the 60s. We're not looking at anything much below normal. Actually, we'll probably be around normal for this time of year with temperatures in the 60s to lower 70s. It's just going to be rather cloudy with a chance of showers each day. So not the best weather conditions, but not horrible. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the northern mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent day.